So, what do you guys want to talk about? Last year for WrestleMania 39, I think I did a video where I'm just like, hey, what could happen? This would be pretty cool. What could happen? And I want to do that again this year, but particularly because there's a lot to talk about a certain match I was really hoping that would happen and then definitely did not happen. So let's start off with what everyone wants to talk about. The Rock versus Roman Reigns. What do I feel about it? I'm disappointed. The theme of Cody Rhodes from WrestleMania 39 to 40 is I have to finish the story. And then, for no other good reason other than business, which does make sense, he gives up his spot to The Rock. What? You wanted to finish the story. Seth isn't the story you want to finish. You finished him a long time ago. Finish the story. I think WWE sees how wildly disliked this moment is. So what can they do? What can they do to reevaluate the story so that fans don't scream again? Reasonably so. So I have some ideas. This would, of course, be the big match of one of the nights, probably night 2. So this is my first pitch for a match. You do Rock versus Roman on night 1, and then Roman versus Cody on night 2. Maybe one's for the title, maybe one's for the other. I don't know. But I don't think Roman Reigns should hog both nights. I would prefer to see Seth Rollins get one of those nights. Maybe a women's title. I don't know. So scratch that idea. What's another idea? Cancel it. I don't want to cancel it. I don't want to cancel it outright because there's something here. But the fans hate this idea. Nobody wants it. People want Cody to finish the story. But I have faith in WWE. WWE is a very smart company. Obviously, this is an amateur talking about Vincent Van Gogh. But to maybe mend this story idea, because I do think it's a good idea, what I would do instead is The Rock versus Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Here's my TLDR story. Maybe you play with some insider baseball, but I'm not sure about that. But Cody says something like, I do want to wrestle Roman at WrestleMania, but I don't want to take that moment away from The Rock. Maybe they have some sort of feud. Rock and Cody kind of have some standoffish energy. When they shook hands, just look at Cody's face. He was so devastated that he had to give up his spot. Now, whether that was story or real, I'm going to play the story angle. The Rock is like, hey, you want to fight him, you got to earn it. Cody's like, what the heck are you talking about? I did earn it, Rock. Feud. Angry. And the first match of Elimination Chamber, The Rock versus Cody Rhodes. Winner faces Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Cody's pissed off, and so are the fans, so we're going to play with this, that Cody's got to prove himself twice. Are you kidding me? Again, I said it's the first match. The reason being, we know something mucky is going to happen. And amok it does, because Solo Sikoa, not listening to the directions of Roman Reigns, decides to interfere with the match to prevent Cody from winning. I think we should do to prevent Cody from winning. The match is called off. Cody and Rock are pissed. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis finally come to a conclusion. Together, they can finally understand one another. They say, you know what? Both of you are wrestling Roman at WrestleMania. Maybe that we have some stories like, oh, are they going to do 2 different nights? Or maybe they should do the same night. I would prefer the same night. Rock versus Roman versus Cody. That's the match. And then Cody pins Roman to finish the story. Yes, Cody Rhodes wins. Now, the different storyline seed plots that I've made throughout this, Roman and Solo, I briefly mentioned, had a little scuffle, and Solo interfered in the match, which caused Roman to lose the title. So Roman and Solo are going to start feuding at a certain point, but that's kind of a secondary feud for Roman, because what I want to focus on is a feud between The Rock and Roman that lasts till SummerSlam. I think that would be glorious. Another storyline I would throw in there, I kind of think it would be fun if Roman joins the Money in the Bank ladder match. There's one spot left. Who is it going to be? Roman joins because he's gonna go after Cody with everything he got. He's not gonna win it, because I kind of like this idea of Roman's on the downfall post WrestleMania, and then at SummerSlam he can win or lose against The Rock. But let's give Roman some time off. He's been needing it. He's been champion for 3.5 years. Crazy amount of time to be the big dog. Anyways, that's how I would quote unquote handle this Rock versus Roman and Cody Rhodes situation in a tight, neat bow. But hey, I said I wanted to pitch matches for the rest of WrestleMania as well. So I've got more story ideas, baby. Let me take a look here. Let's hit some easy ones. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. That one's a given. I'd kind of want to give it to Jey because I think we can do something with that. I've heard rumblings that it should be... Not rumblings. I've heard people want Jey Uso versus Gunther for the title at WrestleMania, which I think would be glorious. But I think we need to strike while the iron's hot. Let's get Jey versus Jimmy. And I would make this match either a Hell in a Cell or a No Holds Barred. Hell in a Cell didn't work too well last year, but that was more just because Finn Balor cracked his head open. Understandably so. What a champion. What a warrior. Here's another one. I don't really care who wins. I just want both to have a grand old time. Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa. I haven't heard anything from Randy, and he looked hurt during his Royal Rumble match, which scares me, so I hope he's okay. But, of course, put your health above wrestling. Anyways, let's get this bloodline nonsense out of the way and head over to the Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins was originally gonna face CM Punk, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So my pick is Drew McIntyre. Yes, we're doing it again. They fought recently, they've fought before, and what I would do at this stage... Drew McIntyre wins. I've been hoping that he wins for a long time. I'd love to see some gold around his waist for at least 15 seconds, because here comes Damian Priest cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase and winning the Heavyweight Championship. Yes, that's right. I think Drew versus Seth is going to bring in a lot of seats, especially because we can't do CM Punk, unfortunately. And you can always set up the feud afterwards between Drew and CM Punk, for the title or not for the title, depending on if Drew has the title. And Damian Priest will have stories that we'll talk about in a bit. Anyways, the Women's Heavyweight Championship, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. I think that one's a pretty given one. You could spice it up a little bit more with different match types, or maybe a third competitor, or fourth competitor, even a fifth competitor. I really like that match with Rhea Ripley at... Shoot, where was it? Yeah, it was Crown Jewel. It was Crown Jewel, where Rhea Ripley took on 4 other women. Fatal 5-way. That was a pretty good match. Anyways, it's pretty safe to say that Becky versus Rhea would be a banger match, just like Bayley versus Iyo Sky. I'm so happy that we're getting this, but unfortunately I think Io's gonna win it. I think we want to keep that belt around Iyo just for a little bit longer. Maybe continue the feud with Bayley. I don't know. There's a lot you could do, but Iyo versus Bayley is a pretty safe bet. Because they announced it, duh, Zach. Now, this one was difficult, but for now, this is my pitch. Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship versus Chad Gable. Thank you! And what I would do here is Chad Gable wins. David beat Goliath. But in this situation, Chad beat the Gunther. Now, honestly, I can really see anybody facing Gunther at WrestleMania. I know that if we're going to do Cody versus Seth, you could have Drew take Chad's place, so it's Drew versus Gunther, and Drew wins that, because, again, I'd love to see some gold around his waist. But the reason why I said Chad Gable is because we had those banger matches earlier last year, and I think it would be a fun story to come full circle with. I would have it a Falls Count Anywhere match, because that's fun. We can get the Alpha Academy involved, maybe the Creed brothers involved. I definitely have Imperium involved. And the reason why I would have Chad win is because not only he deserves it, but Gunther's got to go after a world championship. And he's got to win it. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine Gunther versus Damian Priest? Woohoo! And I kind of want Gunther to win it. That would be really good. Let's jump over to the United States Championship. I saw somebody say that this should be a ladder match because Logan Paul is going to have the belt probably. That would be really fun, and you can get a lot of good competitors in there. But let's say it's just a regular one-on-one match, if not a ladder match, which would be my pick. Some of the competitors that you could do, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, but personally, I would want Ricochet to get his revenge from SummerSlam. Ricochet's had the US title before, but let's give it to him again, and let's have him compete every week. He's going to be so awesome with that thing. But again, I would prefer a ladder match. I just like ladder matches. They're so much fun. Let's hit a few more random ones. The Pride versus the Last Testament. We've been building that up, and that'll be fun. The Kabuki Warriors versus Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark. I could not think of a different women's tag team that I think is like really hot right now. And I mean, the Kabuki Warriors would win. So anyways, Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. I don't care if Jade Cargill takes Becky Lynch's place. I don't care if she's added to Iyo Sky versus Bayley. Just put her in there. Jade Cargill. Whew. And Bianca and Jade had that spot during the Royal Rumble, so you can kind of build off of that. Maybe it's just a friendly rivalry of like who's going to beat who. I don't know, there's a lot you can do. Now I have two different versions of this match. Santos Escobar versus Rey Mysterio. Yes, he's back. And either person can win, but to expand this, you could do Legado del Fantasma versus the LWO. In Legado's side, you have Santos Escobar, Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, and Elektra Lopez. I think that would be fun. Yes, I'm adding a woman into it because on the LWO side, you have Rey Mysterio, you have Carlito, you have the returning Bad Bunny, and you have Zelina Vega. I don't know. I hate to keep just having this team come back over and over and over again, fighting over and over and over again. But it hasn't gotten old. It's still amazing. I love it. And I think they could seriously be one of the best matches at WrestleMania. All of these wrestlers, including Bad Bunny, are incredible. And you know what? I even have something to make it even bigger if we're going to get even spicier with it. On Legado's side, you add JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. I don't really have something for them to do at the moment. And I don't know, it would make sense if Dominic's like, hey, I'll team up with you guys to take down my deadbeat dad. You know, you got some good stuff there. And then you add Joaquin Phoenix and Cruz del Toro on the LWO side. It would be a mayhem of a match, but I would love it. And let's finish off with our tag team matches. Judgment Day has both titles. This is how I'll separate them. On night 1, the Judgment Day will face The Awesome Truth, my newest favorite tag team in WWE, for the Raw tag team titles. And The Awesome Truth wins. Oh my god. If we do Seth versus Drew on night 1, what I would do is have this tag team match first. Damian loses the title. Maybe you tease something where he's not feeling confident about tomorrow night when he's got to face that other tag team. So what he does is he cashes it in and he has the heavyweight championship. Night 2, Finn's kind of upset and so is the rest of Judgment Day. Why did we lose these titles? Damian, this is your fault. Damian's like, no, this is your fault. They blame him for focusing too much on the heavyweight championship. He should have stayed focused on the tag team championships. But nevertheless, we have a match tonight. We just have to come together. We'll hold on to these titles. Judgment Day is still the most dominant group in WWE. Cut to later, the Judgment Day versus, and I didn't know this was their tag team name, but I love it, British Strong Style, Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. So these would be for the SmackDown titles on night 2, and I would have British Strong Style win. If the Judgment Day is going to keep tag titles, I would prefer it to be the Raw ones just because they're on the Raw brand. However, I think cleaning house in terms of the tag titles is going to be really good to freshen up these new tag divisions for both Raw and SmackDown post-WrestleMania. And this would sow the seeds of betrayal and dissension and breaking up with Damian Priest. Damian Priest has that heavyweight championship. Dominic and Finn are like, you were focusing on them. Rhea's like, what the heck, bro? I kept my title. I guess we could stay together for a little bit longer. And then they betray him. But the point is, I think WrestleMania 40 is a great opportunity to really break up the Judgment Day so that in following weeks you have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor, Damian Priest versus Dominic Mysterio. I think you got a lot of opportunity there. And that is my WrestleMania 40. I'm very excited for what's to come. I know that the recent spot on SmackDown, it's Sunday as I'm recording this, so I know that the SmackDown wasn't everybody's favorite, but I'm going to hold out faith that WWE lets Cody finish the story. Either that was always planned, or maybe they realized they need to change course due to the reaction to this. I don't know. I'm holding out hope, and I'm loving WWE recently. I really, truly think that WWE has never been better for a fan within the last, 10 years. I haven't watched it for a super long time. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Please be nice to each other. All of us WWE fans are together on this. We're loving WWE. Thank you to WWE for being so lovely and so fun and so entertaining and so brutal and so spectacular and so legal. Anyways, thanks for watching, and be on the lookout for some videos in the future, maybe. And I'll see you next time.